morning we're asking for approval of a resolution that will allow us to convert an existing taxable loan that was a refinancing in 2021 with Truist Bank to tax exempt. This is allowed under the IRS tax regulations. It was the original bond issue in 2014, which was used to fund projects in Lancaster, York, Adams, and Lebanon County. And that was refinanced in 2021. It was prior to the call date of the original bonds, so it had to be refinanced as a taxable loan. And at the call date, which is June 4th of 2024, it can be converted over to a tax-exempt bond. And that requires county approval in all of the counties where the funds were expended.
Okay. You're the abogee.
That's a $45 million bond, is that correct?
Correct.
I'll make a motion to support the 2014 bond issue redoing as you're presenting it. Thank you.
I'm going to second that motion, Mr. Chairman, but I'll also note for the record that I have a part-time position with WellsPan Health, and I want to note that for the record, but check with our solicitor that the nature of this does not require me to recuse myself.
Yeah, that's right.
No pecuniary interest here. Any discussion or questions regarding the motion? If not, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. So moved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. All right. We're going to entertain the ARPA.
Yes, so following up on your motion to add to the agenda a request from the Pennsylvania Chautauqua Foundation for an ARPA grant for Soldiers Field Nature and Historical Site. We spent considerable time yesterday in a workshop discussing this. Mr. Feather is here today if you have any further questions, but the ask is for a $150,000 grant to supplement the amount that they have raised both through other grants and local donations for various improvements to Soldiers Field that include trails, some ADA walkways, lighting, bleachers, some resurfacing, and yeah. So if there's anything more you would like John to add, I'm just putting that on the table for that request.
All right. I think we're very familiar with this request.
I'm John Feather, the Vice President of the Chautauqua Foundation Association. Excuse me, Foundation. Jamie, did you say about bleachers?
I'm sorry, I was reading, yeah, you don't have bleachers.
No bleachers.
I was reading from another ARPA, yeah.
Yeah, some benches.
Good ear.
For pedestrians,
I'm
but
sorry.
no bleacher section.
Right, I don't want to make it think there's, anyone
Make
think
sure you're paying attention.
there's a stadium there or anything like that.
No,
That's not
please,
happening.
please. Just the other supplement is that there's a recognition that Soldiers Field got its name from being the home of the Pennsylvania National Guard from 1885 to 1935. And there'll be a number of signed recognitions of the activities that the Guard participated in during that time period. Thank you. Unless you have questions,
All right, well,
reiterate my...
I'd like to get a motion on the floor to approve this, and then we can have discussion.
I'd like to make a motion to approve this request for $150,000.
I'll second the motion, and I do have some additional information. I'd like to make sure that it's public.
This would be a good time for that.
Okay, thank you. Again, I am not against this. I think it's a noble project. I really do. However, knowing that we spend all of our CARES funds giving it to nonprofits and businesses in the community, and the commissioners, the county were not even allowed to keep any administration funds to administer it. There are other projects with the ARPA funds, so we don't have to raise taxes so much for our public, that I really feel need to be made aware of, that I have discussed in private with our solicitor, not our, well, maybe some of the solicitor, but with our administrator. And one of those is, for instance, solar panels. And if we could put some on the county building, there's a 70% renewable energy grant available, and with a 30% match. We could use the match from the ARPA funds. There are we need new microphones. These are illegal. They have the potential to interfere with the signals down in 911 center. The windows on the county building, if you look around, many of them are clouded and they're failing, and we really need some new windows on this building. And that could also possibly fit in with the energy grant if they have an R value that's better than what we have. We have, again, the Krall Barn in honor of Bill Smeltzer and also Bill Ames. I don't know where we are. We need an update on that. I prefer to delay an answer so that we can get all of these pricings on. We have Monument Park where we requested, at least I did, benches and planters to go along with the med-ed replacement of the lights, and they will be in a Victorian style to match when it was initiated. There was a suggestion yesterday about libraries, and of course the Soldiers Field with the great project they have there. But I think we need the big picture before we approve this particular motion. It's not that I'm against it, but I'd like to see these others addressed so that we can spread this $813,469.34 to the best of our county, so we don't have to raise taxes for some of these items.
Well, thank you. Just based on my knowledge of this project and all the vetting that has been done by other municipal and governmental grants that you've been able to acquire, and all the private donations, and this is just about a 2-year in the works or more project. We're at the tail end of it, and I'm 100%, as Joellen is, in support of it, but I'm willing to say that we can do this, and I'm going to support it today. No further delays. The longer we delay it, the costs are going to go up because of the nature of all these kind of projects.
Very true.
And you've come down from where we started at 200,000 to, because of your successful fundraising and some other issues that fell right, that you're at 150,000. I think this is the time we need to do this. So I'm going to support that.
Too, the timing is really good too, considering 2026 we'll be celebrating our 250 year centennial anniversary, and the historic value and importance to the community is important to I'm supporting this as well.
Thank you.
I'd just like to point out that things like windows, those prices aren't frozen either. They're going to go up too, significantly, if we don't act.
Yes, and I'd like to also, just for the big picture reference, 21 million of this money that's been spent has already been spent on things that are going to relieve the local taxpayer. So the vast majority of this funding has been already committed to public safety and some other areas that certainly have relieved the local taxpayer of that burden. There's still tax money at the end of the day, as we all know. But so, big picture, they were first, with the commitment from the county. So anyway, any other discussion? Yes.
I was just wondering, and I didn't know that this discussion was taking place, but when the gentlemen were here from the fire school, I was thinking about ARPA funds. Would potentially ARPA funds be able to be used on that water situation?
Possibly.
There might be more than one source of funding.
I think potentially that. I don't know how much you want to have a conversation about the handout here, but I don't. So ARPA was intended for something COVID related, a tie back to COVID, and one of those, a big component of that is outdoor recreation, which is the category this fits in.
Excuse me, Dave. Do you have copies of this?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And of course the 911 center, which is has everything to do with first response and public health emergencies and things like that. Some of these items on the bottom of the handout might be eligible, but I'm not sure replacing windows would be an ARPA eligible. I don't know how to make a tie back to COVID on that or on solar. I mean, those might be maybe a Build Back Better kind of program, which was a federal program that was passed last year. But we have to be very cognizant of making sure that the projects fit into the categories that the ARPA Act spelled out. So I just want to point that out. I'm not sure that all of those would be ineligible. I'm comfortable that the ones that we have so far have certainly been eligible.
And that's one of the, audit proofing this stuff, is very important that we make sure we comply.
Well, I think
And not
we,
get us into trouble.
I think we could check with the state and get a pre-approval, so to speak, rather than wait for an audit, be proactive about it. Because I do see some ties to COVID. There were those that had to work in this building and we couldn't close down. We had to continue with government, and many other businesses didn't. I mean, restaurants and things, they were closed. We could not shut down. We did do some Zooming, but whether it's keeping power here, let's just say a big storm comes through and knocks out our electricity. If we have solar on the roof, we will continue to get electricity, and we can operate when others can't. And, with the windows, the fresh air, and but not wasting energy, all of that can come back. I think it can be justified and tied in, but I think we should check with the state and get a pre-approval, so to speak.
Any other, just,
Yes, Commissioner Litz, I have a couple questions for you. Yesterday you stated that the ARPA funding has to be county-specific.
Has to be what specific?
County-specific, it has to be spent on county projects. And that was one of the reasons that you were saying you were thinking of opposing this proposal. But as I looked down across this list, and Lebanon had, or your concerns with the proposal, Lebanon had just recently ran an article highlighting all the ARPA projects, and in speaking with the county administrator, he had pointed out that the very first project was WEPA, and went to WEPA. That was the first one. It was assigned. It wasn't the most money, but it was the first. And we have the fairgrounds, we have Expo, we have Lebanon Valley Rail Trail, Governor Dick project. So there's some projects on here that have already passed that you voted to approve. Yet yesterday you said Bill Ames and you had an agreement. There was documentation. You might have had video. I'm very confused by that statement that the funding had to be county specific when there are non-county projects that are already approved and completed on this list. Can you clarify your statements from yesterday, why you said that? When money is going to non-county projects, but you said they have to be all county specific. That, I was very confused by that, because I wanted to follow up, because I know they were coming back today for this presentation, and I want to clarify what you were saying yesterday and why you said it, because that doesn't appear to be the case.
I'm confused by what you said. I don't quite.
So,
If I could try, again, I don't think her comment yesterday was that we can only use these funds for county projects. I think what she was talking about was a discussion that possibly we ought to prioritize county projects.
over other projects,
Yeah, that
with
was
the
my
remaining
understanding.
fund.
Right.
I didn't hear that.
I don't remember that
But
being
he is
said.
right.
But
But he is right. That was our agreement. How do you want to spend this money? Let's make county priority so we aren't raising taxes.
But you also referenced an agreement with Bill Ames, and I've been
Yes.
covering this issue pretty much since the beginning of COVID. I started with Lebanon. I don't remember any agreement being passed. I mean, do you have documentation of that?
There was no formal agreement. It was a question that was asked of us.
You said you had video of it, though.
I said I would check if I had video of it, or if it was a direct question. But it seems to me it happened twice, because, last night I thought about it some. It seems to me once there was a question in this meeting, do you want county funds spent mostly on county projects? And I don't remember the exact wording. And it could have been an executive session, but I think, or a workshop. I don't remember exactly where it was. I just remember probably twice, at least once, but probably twice, that we were asked, and Commissioner Ames and I And oftentimes it was pointed out, we were not in agreement, but we were in agreement that instead of giving it all outside of county, let's do something to keep our taxes in check. Take advantage of this for projects that can cost a lot of money. And this way, we don't have to raise the taxes so much because they're in process or need done, and many of them were pointed out here. But I think maybe I'm a little out of context of what I was trying to say yesterday, and
I don't remember you using, honestly, I don't remember you using the word prioritize county projects over other projects. I don't believe that what was said, but
Well, I
if that's what you're
probably did
saying now,
not.
if that's what you
I
intended to say.
probably did not, but Lebanon County projects, I was trying to emphasize prioritize. I didn't use that word, but if that clarifies it for you, I use it today.
Well, it's not so much clarifying what I want to hear,
Yeah.
what you meant, what you were trying to say, because it sounded as if you were going to oppose this project and you had questions about it, and so.
I'm not
And then you
against it.
used the words county, I thought they were supposed to be county specific, that all the projects would be county specific. That was my interpretation of what was said yesterday. And there was projects on here that are not county based, they're not,
Correct.
again, fairgrounds, expo center.
Correct.
Those are
But
not
the
county
Expo
entities.
is county. We have a person on the board for that.
Oh, okay. You're saying you were prioritizing, that's what you,
Right.
that the remaining money should be prioritized for
Correct.
county-based projects.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, anything else on this for discussion purposes? Okay, if not all in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
Aye. Only because we're doing it today
Right.
and not having the big picture.
Gotcha. Okay.
Thank you,
Good luck.
ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Appreciate your kindness.
Thank you, John.
We'll start working on it, invite you to